What's up, friends? I'm just wondering what that aura do, boo. Blessings, blessings, blessings. Hello, loves. Hello. Welcome to Charlie's Truth YouTube channel, a playground for adults. My name is Charlie, and I am an intuitive soul guide and energy channeler. I prioritize simplicity, practicality, and love in all that I do. So today we are continuing with our soul remembrance through the lens of human design. And if you're new to human design, there are links in the description that will take you either to the introduction video, or there's also a link to my website where I also share information about human design. And there's also the Google. So feel free to explore any of those. But if you want to know what we're doing around here, please check out the introduction video, because it does let you know what my plans are with human design and with this channel. So please tune in. In this video, I'm going to be talking about the aura types. And I'm super excited to talk about these and to really kind of give you a visual, maybe. We'll see. So aura types are one of the 3 areas of the human design system that I highly recommend that we get familiar with, that we experiment with to begin with, and that we really set our foundation for human design through. I truly do believe that when I learned about my type, my authority, and my strategy, as well as my profile, I started there. That's where I started my work. And even after I learned about it, I took time off from human design and I just kind of sort of experimented with it. Whether it wasn't on purpose, really, it was just like, this is a lot to take in. Like, what does it even mean? And so as I saw the benefits of the experiment and practice, knowing my type and being mindful of my strategy and my authority, it really helped me to see how the system can be implemented and how it can support us in our journey of soul remembrance and our journey of just getting to know ourselves on a deeper level and deconditioning, reprogramming ourselves from what we've been told we were, into really actually allowing the truth and the soul essence of us to emerge. Because that's what human design, I feel like, supports us and helps guide us through. Our types concern the body, our genetics, and our aura. Each type defines a particular mode of operating energetically. So this isn't about personality or psychology typing. We're really focusing on an energetic makeup of a being. So definitions determine what type we are, and our type is expressed through our aura. And so when I'm talking about definition, I am talking about the parts in our body graph that is colored in. When you look at the body graph, you'll notice that there's some colored in shapes. Those colored in shapes are our definition. So with that definition is what determines what type we are, what our aura is doing, but it's all determined on the definition within our body graphs. So all humans are surrounded by this invisible energy field around them. They say that it extends about 6 feet in front of us, around on the side of us, and in the back of us. The frequency of our aura is communicating core information, core data with those around us. And it's a great tool for us being able to exchange information. And it impacts the way we relate to others and connect with them. We use our aura to taste the aura of those around us, not just the people, but also the places, the energy of it, the health of it. What vibration, what frequencies is it letting out for us? When you be like, I'm not feeling their vibe, I'm not feeling their energy, that is what you're talking about. You're picking up on someone's energetic field. Okay, you're communicating with them energetically. And so yes. So according to Ra, and I'm going to read this, auras are a full expression of the being and controlling agent of the way the form is going to work. Auras are the way we connect to and are experienced by the other. This information within the human design system and within my chart specifically has invited me into expanding my awareness of myself, and as well as supporting me in creating deep and intentional connections with others. I really do believe in quality relationships over quantity. And by knowing my human design and learning about my friends and family's human design, I've really been able to connect and support them in ways that are new for both of us and different for us. But we get to experiment with that. And I'm meeting people where they at and where their aura is actually communicating with me. Even when I don't know someone's energetic type, I can feel their energy. So I kind of get a sense now of like who is more of an open aura, who is more of a repelling, closed off aura, whose aura is like kind of penetrating and deep into me. Like there are so many levels to what an aura feels like. But nonetheless, a lot of us have the opportunity to actually feel into auras. Discovering your aura type, I believe, is the first step to understanding your human design and how it works. Knowing and understanding your aura type can help you in experiencing a more aligned life and experience within yourself. Just FYI, I did not go into the history of human design, but Ra is the individual or being that channel a lot of this information and how to synthesize these systems together in order to create this system. They are what I would consider the channeler or the oracle to provide this information to us. So, yes. So according to Ra, each energy type has their own role within society to help us operate in a healthy and organic way. So this is what Ra has to say. In a perfect world, manifestors get things started, projectors guide the process, generators provide the energy to realize or complete it, and reflectors tell us how well it is going. So let's get into these aura types, and I'm going to provide the visual I get about the auras from my own experience and perspective. And so that's what you will hear. And at the same time, I'll also add a graphic here so that you can see a visual of what I imagine. And so I hope that that is helpful for you as it was for me to create it and to tap into it. So let's do it. Hello, reflectors. Welcome. First off, before we even get started, I want to be clear about this. So one of the things I am doing is telling y'all how I feel all the energies or how I imagine the energies feel. Reflectors, I do not believe I've actually met a reflector in life. I not only do I like to learn through books and information from others, I do like to have my own experimentation. And because I have not knowingly met a reflector, I do not have data to support my beliefs yet. However, I figured with this channel, why don't I invite reflectors to reach out to me? If you are a reflector and you vibe with my energy, I definitely do want to invite you to hit me up. Slide up in my DMs in Instagram or even leave a comment here and I will reach out to you because I am just curious about what your experience is like and just like witnessing you in order to better understand just reflectors aura. All right, so reflectors are non-energy / inconsistent energy types, and basically what this means is that they do not have a defined sacral center. So reflectors make up about 1% of the entire population. Reflectors' role in society is like they are the sacred mirror, the discerners, the evaluators, the sampling observer. The gift to the world from the reflectors is their ability to clearly discern this and that of the world. Reflectors have an open and sampling aura. It takes the aura of the other people or environments and easily can detect who is living authentically and who is not. It also can detect whether or not an environment is healthy. Reflectors auras, though they are open and sampling, they are a bit different from projectors auras. Projector is absorbing, right? And when I'm talking about reflectors, I'm talking about sampling. They're not absorbing anything. Reflectors actually have something within their aura that actually protects them from absorbing other energy types and really taking it in as their own. They have their own protective mechanism within their auras. So the aura of a reflector is unimposing and it has a non-intrusive nature to it. I think that that's important because there's just a difference between the other aura types. I want to talk about how I perceive the auras from what I've read and understood. And like I said, I don't actually believe that I've met a reflector in person and actually had the opportunity to really get to know their aura and what it feels like. So this is me assuming. So one, reflectors are mirrors of us. So when I think about a mirror of us, thinking about them being able to express what they're picking up from us. So if I'm hanging out with a reflector and I don't like their attitude, right? It's like, oh, is that something that's in me? Or if I don't like the expression, it's like, oh, is that something that's in me? You know, so they're constantly reflecting back to us, right? So it's like, if you don't like me, do you like yourself? Kind of energy. That's kind of what I get. But even further than that, I kind of want to mention that reflectors to me, when I think about their energy as open and sampling, but as well as resistant, right? Open, sampling, but still resistant, as it does have that barrier to keep them from absorbing the other. I think about them as this is open. So they are open, right? And so I just think about them like, say for instance somebody was to give you a hug. This is how I envision their energy, right? As much as the hug is there and it's big and it's open and it's ready for you, there's still some I don't know, kind of like tension, right? So I think about a hug. Say for instance, if you were hugging somebody but you don't want to be too close, you want like some space between y'all. That's how I imagine an aura is. Like there's still that boundary, there's still that barrier. Though you can have access to me, there's a barrier there, a boundary that you just can't just get through. And so that's what I imagine is happening. One, that they're mirroring for us, and two, that when they're sampling, that they taste a little of our energetic feel, is not fully immersing with it, it's not absorbing it, it's not like taking, asking us to come in. It's kind of like creating still this distance, this barrier. I think as we talk about the characteristics, it really does help understand why people auras are the way they are, or how their auras actually operate and are called to operate. It just ends up making sense, I feel like, when we really think about the characteristics in connection with how we describe the aura and what the aura looks like. So let's get into the characteristics. Pam. Reflectors are the rarest of the aura types, as they only make up approximately 1% of the population. They are here to tune into their environment, adapt and change as they experience different types of energy signatures that life has to offer. They quickly pick up on the quality of the energy that they come into contact with daily. So we talked about this in the other types video, and I'm going to talk about it here. Our definition determines our type, and our type determines our aura. And so I want to talk about how reflectors are designed. What is the makeup of their graph? This is an example of a reflector's chart. As you notice, they have no defined centers. So when I say they have no defined centers, there's no color in their body graph. This is all white. We do see activated gates, but there is no actually definition within the 9 centers. The chemistry of a reflector's 9 undefined centers can sample as well as magnify the frequencies of everything and everyone in their environment. So this gives reflectors the ability and potential to taste or sense what's really going on around them in a way that no other type can. A reflector's openness is unique, okay? No other type is going to have the experience of a reflector. And I think what's so important about this means that reflectors are just meant to live differently. What works for the rest of us may not work for a reflector. Reflectors have a lot of openness. I can't imagine what that's like, and maybe there's not many people around you who live similar to you or who are experiencing life in the way you are. It's so easy to get caught up in trying to identify in ways that you don't usually identify, which means that I can see how a reflector will end up as their not self and end up trying to live like people around them, thinking that's the way they're meant to be too, even though it doesn't feel good, it doesn't feel correct for them, So that's kind of like my spill. I don't know. That the unique potential of reflectors' openness is to reflect everything around them with perfect equanimity, which makes their openness an exceptional space of wisdom and information and deep insights. Even though they have all these open centers, reflectors are not more vulnerable to conditioning than the other types. They are said to be the most resilient of all the types. The reflectors' open energy centers allow them to feel immediately whether a place or person is correct for them or not. Open centers are mirrors for a defined center. As a reflector who has 9 open centers, they have the ability to mirror the energy around them back out. And that is the purpose of the reflector. Their gift is in their ability to provide a mirror for the rest of us. They are here to be a wise observer of life. They have an incredible gift for reading others and mirroring them back to themselves. So reflectors are here to enliven and lift up the energy of others. They can amplify and reflect or mirror others' energy back to them. The reflector aura type is designed to observe and reflect back on what they take in with detachment. The purpose is to better harmonize things around them and to connect the community to one another while continually adapting themselves. Reflectors get to sample others' aura, but rather samples them by taking a little bit of it, reading it, and reflecting it back. It's a very non-judgmental and detached energy that protects the reflector from merging with other people. Their auras protect them from identifying with anything they take in through their openness. I kind of mentioned this earlier, but some reflectors do try to live like everyone else. They try to conform to what they believe the expectation is. They are trying to be something they're not simply because they haven't been understood or encouraged to embrace their uniqueness, their differences. I would love to hear from reflectors what their experience have been like. Imagine that some people have felt misunderstood by the collective. Reflectors may describe the world as a place that is unreceptive, kind of cold and disappointing, and somewhere along the way they give in to the expectation of just surviving, right? There's not a thriving, there's not being open to the surprise of life, but there's this belief that, like, you know, put your head down, make it through to the other side, instead of like really just accepting who you are and how you are and living in that truth, living from that space. When the reflectors began to appreciate their uniqueness and practice detachment from or not identifying with what they're mirroring, be less likely to feel like they're lost or to feel confused or being caught up in a turmoil around them. They will accept their place in the center as our wise observer, as our sampling observer, rather than being left feeling like invisible or like they're on the outside looking in. Reflectors are here to be accepting of others, to reflect the truth, and to teach the rest of us that most of the things that we judge as good or bad is really just diversity. It's humanity. It's the truth and the design and makeup of our uniqueness, of our differences, and it all matters. It all plays a part. It all is important. It all has a purpose, you know? Love is the key to reflectors' happiness. It is important for reflectors to be selective about people that they allow into their inner circle. Reflectors, you are designed different, and you're allowed and invited to operate by a different set of rules than other aura/energy types. You're unique, you're special, there's a gift in you, like there's a gift in each and every one of us. And I just want to remind the reflectors that your unique makeup is so important and so necessary, and I pray that you connect back to your authentic truth every day, all day, in each moment, and that you do enjoy the sampling. As someone with an open head, an open G center, I have an open head and an open solar plexus, and a undefined G center. I tell people all the time how I do try on different identities. I do try on different expressions. And I know that they're not me, but I get to try them on. And I pray that you find that same fun and joy in being able to experience all the energies that this world has to offer. As someone with an open emotional center, I give thanks that I get to experience the range of emotions that humans get to have, and I get to become wise about emotions. I get to become wise about the expression. And when you see reflector, your uniqueness, and your undefined centers, the wisdom within you, your capabilities, what's possible for you. And then you really tap into what is your magic, because even though like, you all are reflectors and all 9 of your centers are open, there are some active gates, and there also is something unique and special about you. What do you tend to pick up when you're mirroring? I wonder, because I think about the things that I am intuitively just connected to, like inner child, inner child work. Like I can usually tell when people are expressing from a space of their inner child when it comes to how they're showing up. That's what I connect to. I can connect to that inner child in them, that emotions of that child, the emotions of that experience, whatever it is that they're expressing. I can connect with that. So, reflector, what are you mirroring? What stands out more than others when you are mirroring? Is there something? Maybe there isn't, but I'm just curious about you and your makeup, and also how you experience your openness. Questions. I also want to note manifestors, generators, and projectors are all solar types, meaning their purposes shine through them. As a lunar type, a type that strategy is to wait a lunar cycle, like your connection to the moon is so deeply ingrained into your being. As a lunar type, the reflector is designed to operate as a lunar reflection of the sun's programming. So it's very interesting. And so if you are a reflector or know a reflector and they are having trouble making decisions, or something just like they're trying things and it's just not working, I really do encourage them to look deeper into their design, see what areas there may be some resistance in, right? There may be some force in, right? Or you trying to connect in a way that you aren't designed to. I would definitely invite you to check there. There's so much to be said, and I feel like reflectors, once we get to strategy, I will go even deeper and even further, because I do know when I first heard about the lunar cycle, I was like, what are you even talking about, right? But when I learned and visualized how the actual cycle works and how that connects with your body graph, so much information makes sense. That's a video for another day, and so this is my information for reflectors for now. Please leave your comments below. Let me know if you're a reflector. What's your profile? I want to know the tea. Speak to you soon. Okay, that was fun. That was cute. I really do hope that this video is a reminder, or at least like help you recognize that we all have the ability to understand auras, to interpret auras, aka energy, and that this is not for the selective few. We all have the ability. When we are saying, I'm not feeling your vibe, this energy is just off, there's just something about them, we all are speaking the language of energy, where we're just like, I don't have a logical explanation, but something's off. I'm not feeling it, or I am feeling it. I'm just drawn to you. All these things are ways in which our auras are communicating with us, are providing us with information, and all of the things. So I really do want to encourage you all to like trust your knowing, trust what's coming up for you, trust how your aura works, trust how what information your aura is providing for you, because your aura also, right, is part of what is defined within you. It's part of what your definition is, which also talks about your openness. Where are you vulnerable? Where might others be projecting on you? Where might others be conditioning you? Are you aware of the conditioning? Are you being mindful? There's tons of things to consider and think about when we're talking about auras, when we're talking about our aura types, our energy types, when we're talking about what's defined and what's not defined, and what kind of information is provided through knowing the mechanics of these things in our body graph, these things in our body graph. Sorry, I'm like looking all over my room. I'm really looking all over the place. Okay, focus. So this was a little about the aura types. There are tons of information out there. For the most part, I just took a bunch of my resources and just gathered information for it about each type, while also considering how I feel the energy, how I interpret the energy, how the energy presents itself to me, for me to be able to know, like, I guess, how to respond to it, or what that aura is asking of me, or what it's provoking. Really, what that aura is provoking from me. Is it provoking me to ask a question for you to respond to? Is it provoking for me to invite you to something? What exactly is it provoking? So I definitely want to encourage you to continue to research and even begin experimenting. I believe that the experimentation starts with knowing your strategy, which is the next video we're going to go with. So not only do you need to know your type, I definitely recommend you know your strategy, and I recommend you know your authority and allow that strategy and authority to really be the beginning of your experimentation with human design. And that's what we're going to be doing. We are going on an experiment journey. For those who are new to human design, this is definitely the beginning phases, and there's so many stories I can tell you. So if you have questions or anything like that, please feel free to reach out. I am here. I am open. I'm willing to be supportive to the extent that feels correct for me. So do what you will with that information. I also want to encourage you that if you already have a mindfulness practice or a way that you check in with yourself when it comes to self-awareness, I really do want to invite you to use some of these insights to help you pay a little bit more attention. How are people? What does your aura provoking people, right? What is it inviting from others? How does others respond to you? What do you notice? What patterns do you notice around you when it comes to how people just naturally react to you when they meet you? Or what do people say when you get to know them, and then they'd be like, oh, when I first met you, this is how I felt. Like, what do people say to you? Take inventory, have fun with it. You don't have to take it in as facts or as a judgment. It's just something to play around with, to experiment with. This is not about right or wrong. This is not about judgment. This is about you figuring out how you were called or how you were designed to operate in this lifetime. That is it. No other pressure. It's just I say keep it light. Keep it light. Keep it light. Keep it light. Don't overwhelm yourself. You don't need to go out and do a whole bunch of things. Like, nah, boo. Nah, boo. Things to consider. How do you see, feel, experience your aura? How does others see, feel, experience you? You can ask people who know you really well. You can even look up other of your friends and family sign and see how you feel about their auras. Because remember, you will also be able to see, like, what does their aura provoking you? So I definitely want to encourage you to play with it, test it out. This is a way for you to start experimenting with it by seeing, does this ring true for me? Does this feel aligned for me? So that's the way to start. This isn't about, if it doesn't resonate, it doesn't resonate. It's all good. Like, it doesn't need to resonate. I know that there are things in human design that didn't resonate before that resonates now, or I didn't understand before that I understand now, and it's all good. It's all good. It doesn't make the system less or better or whatever. I personally enjoy it and love it, but that doesn't mean it's for everybody, and that's okay. And I also want to encourage you to make a game out of it. I know I've already said this before, but as a projector, one thing I do is I do have a game I kind of play between me and spirit or source or whatever you want to call it, where as a projector, it is very important that, my energy is at a level where people can invite me to things. And my aura provokes recognition and invitation. So my aura provokes others to recognize me and invite me in. And so with that being said, one of the things that's really important to me, and I believe I was talking to generators about this too, is like being mindful of like what's happening in your energetic field, being mindful of how you're taking care of yourself, being mindful of how you feel, be mindful of how you're showing up. So one thing I do when I go outside is I'm always paying attention to how people interact with me. And this isn't a judgment on them. This is all about my aura. How are they naturally communicating with me? How are they naturally feeling about me? So for me, some things I look for is a smile, or like a little, there just seems to be like an eye contact, which is like an openness. There's just certain things that people do that gives me information about where my aura is. And in the sense of like what's going on with me. Right? Because I do have an open solar plexus, right? So am I consumed with other people's feelings? Am I consumed with other people's projections, right? And is that showing up in my aura? Is that showing up for others to recognize? Is my aura muddy? Does I feel all over the place? Do it seem like I don't even recognize myself? Or you know, like, what is my aura saying to people? Are people able to actually recognize my true essence, or are they recognizing the projections that I've allowed on myself? You know, like, those are the kind of questions I ask myself. And it's not about being right or wrong for me, but it has worked to let me know, like, I will go outside, and if not one person smiles at me or say hi, or if I'm in a store and someone isn't really nice to me, isn't really kind to me, or they aren't patient with me, or they aren't gentle. And it's not just about one person. It's like a collective experience I take in to determine, all right, this feels like this is where we are, this is not where we are, you know. And it personally gives me a lot of information. And some people, I've shared this with some people, and some people are like really shocked. They're like, really, like, that feels like a lot? But I'm like, no, like, for me it doesn't feel like a lot, because I understand how I am called to operate. I understand how my makeup is. I understand, and I truly believe that people get excited about me. There's something about my energy that makes people feel seen, feel accepted, feel invited in. There's something about my aura that provides that for people. So I do expect a certain response from the world, and I do get it almost always. So when I'm not getting it, I'm like, I just get curious about it. And it doesn't matter to me one way. It doesn't, like, I'm not putting a lot of pressure on how people treat me. It's just for me to check in. It's me gauge where I am, and that's all it is. But it's fun. I really, really enjoy it, and it's quite interesting, the information I pick up through that experimentation for myself. And I do rely on that a lot. And I'm always in awe about how people are with me, especially when people aren't kind. I was just like, huh, okay. And I wasn't always like this, but there's levels to it. And I mean, this can also go to the fact that I'm a Leo sun and Leo moon, so that can also be playing a part in why I expect this attention or whatever else. So, you know, take it for what it's worth. So the goal is to master your strategy and authority, and that is what begins your experimentation through human design. And so next up is strategy, and I'm so excited to talk about it. Yo, reflectors, I feel like I am going to need to create y'all a very, very lengthy video, or not. I thank you for rocking with me. I thank you for being here with me. I'm so proud I got through this. I did all these recordings in one day, and I pray that these videos are helpful to you, as fun as they were for me to prepare for and to do. So I love you all. I appreciate you all. Let's go.